So Kemi Badenoch was Conservative members' pick. But now, of course, she has to start to try to persuade the rest of the country to vote Conservative again. When she won yesterday, she proclaimed that now it is time to tell the truth.
This is going to be interesting. I don't think any political leader should begin their tenure with "it's time to tell the truth" as their strapline. Let's see how Kemi does.
So when you are telling the truth, what's the truth about what went wrong with Boris Johnson? Was it honesty?
Well, you will remember that I resigned during the Boris Johnson government. I thought he was a great Prime Minister.
Well, that's either a lie or just sheer stupidity. Anyway, carry on, Kemi.
But there were some serious issues which were not being resolved. And I think that during that tenure, the public thought that we were no longer speaking for them or looking out for them. We were in it for ourselves. Some of those things I think were perception issues. A lot of the stuff that happened around Partygate was not why I resigned. I thought that it was overblown. We should not have created fixed penalty notices, for example. That was us not going with our principles. And then when we had the issue with the Chris Pincher scandal, when ministers were sent out to say things that were not true, that was when I decided that things had gone too far.
But everybody was jumping ship then. That's not something to be proud of and promote. And this idea that fixed penalty notices should never have been implemented is just retrospective tosh. Those were the rules in place at the time, and Johnson and crew disobeyed them.
So it was partly for you about the truth. Were the public wrong to be upset about Partygate? You say it was overblown.
No, they were not wrong to be upset about Partygate. The problem was that we should not have criminalised everyday activities the way that we did. People going out for walks, all of them having fixed penalty notices, that was what ended up, creating a trap for Boris Johnson.
But wasn't the problem that people in government didn't obey the rules?
Yes, that's right. People in government didn't obey the rules, but they were not MPs. They were often staffers, and I think that the way that we had created those regulations ended up entrapping...
The Prime Minister and the Chancellor both got fines. It wasn't just people who work for them.
Indeed, but as we saw with those events, when people see the full story of what actually happened, they understand that things were created, problems were created because of the way that we had created the regulations. But if I may...
No, you may not. Let's just pick up on some of those points. First, Johnson should have had a tighter rein of his staffers. Like a captain of a ship, he was in control and so should have accepted responsibility. Secondly, when people see the full story, they're rightly appalled by Johnson's actions. And lastly, how on earth did she get into this debate? Partygate is a massive sore for the Tories. Don't pick at it and don't try and excuse it. Say it was unacceptable and you will do everything in your power to regain public trust. Now listen, as Kemi wants to sweep all of that under the carpet.
One of the things that's very important is that we draw a line under all that happened over the last 14 years. We've lost an election, a historic defeat, and simply churning over every single incident, I don't think is going to be helpful for dealing with where we are today.
So she's obviously not heard of the saying that those who cannot learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
So if you want to draw a line then, what is the truth about what went wrong with Liz Truss? Was it recklessness? Do you think that perhaps as the new leader, in order to move on, you should say sorry to the public about the turmoil that caused?
Well, Laura, what I'm here to do is talk about how I'm going to be leading the Conservative Party. We can have a post-mortem on each and every Prime Minister over the last 14 years, but I don't think that that's particularly helpful.
Well, I do. It shows how you'll be different from the rest.
For your viewers. There will be a post-mortem. There's plenty of time for us to think about how we can improve the offer that we have for the public.
You stood on a platform yesterday and said it was time to tell the truth about what went wrong with your party.
Yes.
So,
and I have said that. But what I'm not going to do is sit down and go through line by line every single thing that everybody did wrong.
I'm just asking you what went wrong with Liz Truss, who was in power for a matter of weeks, who caused huge economic turmoil, who lots of people in your party said was disastrous for your prospects. So I'm just asking you what you think the truth is on what went wrong.
This is all so easy to deal with. Throw them all under the bus. Boris and Liz are no longer MPs. With Boris and Partygate, say it undermined public trust, and you will do everything to regain that. With Liz Truss's budget, it was uncosted, and we will not make that mistake again. And then say, trust is sacrosanct and I'm the person to gain it back.
We don't have to go on and on about it, just brief it. What do you think went wrong?
But The point I'm making is that we had a historic defeat. I stood up yesterday and said that we need to be honest, that we got things wrong. What I don't want to do this morning is start listing all of the things we got wrong. There's plenty of time to do that. What I'm here to do is set out how there's going to be a change under my leadership.
And we're going to
Click here for Ed Davies' response to the budget.